Okay, well it says I'm on. Sorry for the delay there. I managed to get a little bit delayed in the prep for this trip. Trying to look for coverage and the like, because we are meant to have some ATC online at Bristol. So then I made some food and just got a bit delayed. So if you've been watching, thanks. If you've been waiting, thanks very much for your patience. And welcome to stand 124 at Dublin. We're off on a very short sector this evening to Bristol, which, according to VATSIM UK, should be fully staffed. Don't quite look at it yet. And if you are watching, please say hello in the chat. And feel free to ask any questions. There's been a couple of people who have asked on Facebook for FMC tutorials. I'm going to give myself about half an hour to get set up. Don't mind if I'm a bit late parting, because there should be coverage until about 9 o'clock at Bristol. And Bristol looks like now. So, without further ado, I think everything's running, so let's get SmartCon running. Started up at 18:36:57. So, not before 5:07 is when we're going to leave. 20 minutes minimum, so between 20 and 40 minutes prep with virtual vRYR gets you extra bonus points. So, I've done nothing apart from open the doors and set lights, but I haven't put any power to the aeroplane, so let's get in and have a look and get started up. As I say, if you're watching, so somebody is, please say hi. So, battery on, this is not the full startup, but it will get you going. So this is not a realistic startup as you would get in the plane, but it's enough to get the aeroplane safely powered up, normally powered up and ready to go. So, batteries on, emergency exit lights are on, the seatbelts can stay off because we'll get some fuel in a minute. We'll talk about how much fuel we can take and the payload. Pop the AC power on, and the position lights are on steady because we have AC power. That is realistic. Let's get the IRSs aligned. It will take about 8 minutes at this latitude. It's quicker at the equator, slower at the North Pole or the South Pole, further away you move. They are aligning, you need AC power for that. Your damper can go on. Check the crossfeed valve, bright, off. All the pumps off initially. Quick scan through, check the power. The over, pop the windows on, they stay on for the entire flight. Pop the hydraulic pumps on, diff pressure of 0, the cabin altitudes should match, but it's hidden behind them because we're pretty low. Dublin's only a couple hundred feet above sea level, so it's hidden behind them. If we were at a higher airport, maybe 1,000, you'd see the pointer there. Scrolling down here, we'll talk about a pressurization, and I'll set that in a minute. You can pop the packs and the APU bleed on and ready to go, and set those switches just how I look. See, it's a bit cold in reality. You get some conditioned air. Warm the aeroplane up. That's the overhead done. Get some lights on the panel down here. So this is Zibo 3.3, this is fixed 3.7 anyway, but this is the 2K version, and I think I've got a little bit better frame, hardly any work on the GPU. So, set the mics up, as I said, I've popped the lights on, done nothing else there. Let's check, make sure we've got hydraulic pressure, we have. Brake can go. If this seems a little bit messy, it's just how I do it. Like I say, it's not super realistic flow. Get you going. Just check. Throttle config works. So that is initially the aeroplane checked, set, and ready to go. Dublin Tower wants me to contact them, so I second. Sure. On. Working. Talking. A couple of minutes. London South. This is what we would. Let's change over. Excuse me, to Dublin Tower 186, and at the ATIS. On 2 here, 124. 525 is what we want. Just going to load up my charts on my iPad. Let's load it up. Dublin Tower. Good evening, Ryan F575 Golf Radio check. 18.6.
Runner 575 Golf, good evening, Dublin Tower, radio check, readability 5x5.
Readability 5, you also, thanks very much, Ryan F575 Golf. We'll call it back for clearance in a minute. So, let's get the OFP up. And as I've said, if you've watched any of my streams, use SimBrief. Use Navigraph, then you get everything up to date, everything matches. Nav data in the aeroplane will match. And the routes that you get will be realistic. Now, I'm going to make a slight change to this, which you might be able to see why, but there is a star into Bristol. This was the route that Navigraph came out with, and it was a Eurocontrol compliant route, but it actually just takes us direct to the Bristol overhead, leaving the airways at DUB-BRS. Which is a bit weird and a bit short. Maybe it would be more suitable for, you know, like a turboprop or something. We are going to be quite low today. And as I said, pressurization wise, 230 is going to be our cruise. There are no step climbs, so 230 gets set on here. Very important if you don't want to pass out and get hypoxic, which is simulated. And Bristol is quite high, 622 feet above sea level, so round it to 600, 650, doesn't really matter. All of the pressure is dumped on landing anyway. It just makes the descent prediction a little bit more accurate for the controller in the pressurization unit. Makes it a bit more comfortable for the packs in real life. So that's that done. Why don't we get our cargo doors open, get the rear door open, go, and let's have a look. So, these notes are all mine, number of packs, the amount of cargo, payload. Hello again, Rick. And you'll see we have a message here, which is, like I say, this is all I've put in manually. This message is generated by SimBrief, and it's payload cargo limited by maximum landing weight. So you can see there, our predicted landing weight is at the absolute maximum. So with a forecast payload of 18.3, we can't take that. And the reason for that is that I've added an extra 30 minutes. Our alternate is Edinburgh, because I know they're online, which is actually, the alternate should have been Manchester, but if we do get to divert, we'll end up going to Edinburgh, because there's a tower exam. I wanted to do both tonight, but it just wasn't going to work with the virtual Ryanair routes. So we've got an additional 30 minutes of fuel. And I think what I'm going to do is knock that down. Having done the maths, our max payload at the moment, with this giving this zero fuel weight, is 17.8. So what I'll do is I'll put the packs and the cargo in, see what we end up with, take away the operating empty weight, and then see how much additional fuel we can take based on that. So in the payload we go, 160 packs. Gives us 13.9, and we want to bias the cargo forward a little bit, so we've got more forward CG. Gets a little bit unstable in. So I'm going to put 136 in the front and 1 ton at the rear. So that's giving us 18.056, 18.1. So we need to lose at least 300 kilos. Dowler 82. Hello. I think we were talking earlier, and I'm really sorry, I can't remember your name. I could look. But hello, welcome. Hope this helps, because I think you were having trouble setting up the FMC, so we'll talk about that in a minute. So all I've done is put the packs in, put the cargo in. Like I say, our max payload with the 30 minutes of fuel is 17.8, so we need to lose at least 300 kilos. So we can take an extra ton of reserve fuel.
We are ready for push.
That was an irritating tear that I thought I'd got rid of. Anyway, back to the payload. So I think we can take an extra ton of fuel, which is probably going to give us, 4 is 10, maybe an extra 20 minutes reserve. Okay, Rick, so panel above. The panel above, you talk about the overhead. There's not really a huge amount to do with that, and we'll talk about it as we go along. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to knock off, we needed to lose at least 300 kilos. So 7479 is our block fuel with that additional, and I think I'm just going to call it 7.1 tons. Put that in fuel here, 7.1. That's going to give us a takeoff weight of 68040. We should burn 2 tons on the way, and that should get us down to 66 quite nicely. And our max landing at 66.4, so we are going to have to watch as we come in descent. Going to have to watch our fuel, make sure we don't get too heavy. So, call the fuel truck. Fuel truck is on the way, and so that is essentially the aeroplane starting to be set up. So, one thing I am going to do before we crack on, one thing I can say to you, Rick, is Flight Deck to Sim does some really good tutorials. They are based, his actual tutorials are based on PMDG, when he used to use that, but now he just streams. And so yeah, once you get the hang of it, it starts to make sense. But if you want to watch those tutorials, they're usually quite good, quite short. Whereas now he just streams and has a chat with a few more people than me. Yeah, and look this up. Marius, now that 82. Are you Marius? Hello, thank you for joining me. Sorry, quite rude of me, but it's been a busy day. So yeah, checklist wise, there are some good checklists. I tend to just do the flow myself, but this is the real one, and on the yoke that covers pretty much all of the important items. Once you get the hang of it, they'll just sort of sink into your brain. But one of the benefits of joining a virtual airline, something like vRYR, is they give you an actual ops manual, which you can then read, and it amplifies all those procedures rather than just giving you checks. It gives you a bit of reasoning behind it and things that you have to do, like landing gates, stable approaches, all those realistic things. So, tower doesn't know I'm blanking.
Do you have information, Juliet?
But we're going to listen to the ATIS. So we know it's Juliet.
This is IMO information, Juliet. At time 1830, expect ILS approach runway 28 in use. Transition level 65. Wind 240 degrees 13 knots. Visibility 2500 meters, moderate rain and drizzle clouds. Few clouds at 600 feet, broken 1000 feet, broken 1600 feet. Temperature 11. Dew point 11 QNH 998, temporary clouds, broken 800 feet. Advise on initial contact. So the weather here is not looking great. Now you can also get it from here, and we'll just see if that's the same. Clear the message, because it means the IRSs have aligned. We'll send that to check. There is a bit of a delay, I think, sometimes between VATSIM and this weather. 24011, yeah, there's a bit of variability. 10K, it definitely isn't. You can see there yesterday's weather. That's no good. I don't know where it comes from. Anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up because it's then easier for you to see. But I've written that down. 240 at 13, 2.5K in rain and drizzle. A few clouds at 600 feet, broken at 1000, broken at 1600. Temperature of 11, dew point of 11. QNH 9.8 hectopascals. I'm going to set that now while I think about it. Probably can't see that very well just because of the resolution, but set on both, and then this
this one is synced over here, which is a setting in EFB. So, onto the FMC. I am going to monitor whilst talking, and I hope you can still hear okay. I think I am louder than the radio, but I appreciate it can be a little distracting. It's probably more distracting for me talking and getting it here at the same time. So, you can pretty much work your way through this in a sort of logical sequence. So, as we said, we're on stand 124. Some, I think in reality, have a lookup that will provide the lat long that, but we'll take it from the GPS left. All the displays come alive, and I'm going to pop my directors on master on my side because I am flying it. Straight onto the route, we're going off to Bristol Echo Golf Delta Delta. This evening we are Ryanair 575 Golf, because the auto-generated flight number is what everyone will use if they do this trip. So I've just changed a few digits. So our route is this, and I'm sure Rick knows that you can type all this in, but I save a bit of time by exporting it from SimBrief into a folder in Xplane, which I can't tell you what it is at the moment off the top of my head. No, I've got that wrong. It's Echo.
Just hold position for a second. We have an aircraft on the ground that hasn't contacted me, and I'm not sure where he's going yet. So hold position for now, and I'll get you moving in a minute or so.
Roger that, we'll hold position for now. Lufthansa 9 Papa Zulu.
It's definitely German. At least you get the accent. It's really cool when you have people online. So I export it. It exports in that format. Departure ICAO, arrival ICAO 01 all the time. The most recent one it overwrites. Pop it in here, but I am going to modify this. So we're not going to go direct to Bristol. Actually, you can't delete it this way. So we've got to go to the legs, because we are actually going to take the arrival off of this, which is not what we filed. Take that one out. Okay, let's do it the old-fashioned way, shall we? So let's go Dexon. Then it's going to be Yankee 124. And you see then, you get a discontinuity. I'm going to go to Ampit.
Runner 175, good afternoon, or good evening, Dublin Tower.
Lima 15.
The next left on the Whiskey 2, hold short of runway 1634.
Well, Lima 15 to Rizzler, yes. I'll start the pretend packs boarding. Do that, shall we? Just get some ambience.
Lufthansa 9, Papa Zulu.
And then November 862.
Runway 16, hold short, runway 2.
And I'm going to modify this. I'm taking these out because we're going to go to Retzi. And that is now modified route. So I'm going to activate that. Take us to the arrival. So 0 fuel weight talked about earlier. See, we'll work that out. 61.2. It's fine because we have lost some fuel, so we should be landing under that. If we do look like we're going to be landing over, it's going to be a bit of a pickle. So our planned fuel is probably going to be slightly less than this, so I'm just going to put 2.2 in, because with a few 100 kilos less, probably won't burn that fuel. It might be significantly less anyway, because we've got 10 minutes, taxi, 20 minutes taxi, which we probably won't use. So, our reserves here, it's a long old slog. You wouldn't have that really, and that's what's helped to throw us over as well. 3823, round up to 3.9, again to 4. Ryanair is always cost index 6, and this is why you need to use SimBrief, because this gives you all the data to put into here. 230 is our cruise. Our top of climb wind 28588. Talk about the wind in a minute. Top of climb ISA plus 5 degrees, and that's the perf set. Change there.
The departure frequency is now 131.150 channel control.
So I'm just going to tune that in. 131.5. And for this, you need a takeoff performance calculator. calculator because the one in Zibo isn't modelled yet. I don't think. So I have AppSoft, which I will pop up on the screen. Magic of OBS. Soft is now on screen. So we know it's runway. Let's do the arrival first. Refresh the VATSIM weather. 998.1120. That's the weather we've got. It's runway 28. Gonna not have an intersection departure because we're going to take it all the way down. So it should be raining outside. So we'll have the engine lights on. That's going to reduce the takeoff power available. Optimum flap. Engine bleeds are going to be on. If we were struggling with payload, we'd turn those off. Optimum thrust 68376. So that gets it from flight plan.
Can you please say the departure frequency again?
And we'll calculate that.
9 Pacific, contact channel control 131.150. I'll get flight. Goodbye.
So
Over to 131.150. Thank you very much for your service. Bye bye.
the wet runway 28 full, flap 5, 24k departure, 93.7, no select temperature. It's going to give us a V1. So, ill. Let's see what MC gives us. So, 24k, 93.7. I'm going to assume that's because there is showing 8 degrees, so it's going to catch up. 24k, no D rate. Sorry, no, that is the D rate. No select temperature. Obviously, it's going to be at 5. Pop the wind in, which we said was 240. 13. Thrust reduction at 1000. The acceleration at 1500. Comes from the charts. The wet runway. Set the CG trim of 7.
Good evening, Dublin, Ryanair
35, 143, 150.
On board, requesting via park clearance to Manchester, please.
That's that done. 150.
Ryanair
Oh, okay.
554, you don't actually have a departure set in your flight plan. I'm going to assign you the Liffey 5 Alpha departure if you can accept that.
So, let me get that off the screen.
5 Alpha, Ryanair 554.
Ryanair 554, thank you. That is cleared to Manchester Liffey 5 Alpha departure off runway 28 squawk 6661, and your departure frequency is 131.150.
So I'll bring the trim back.
Cleared to Manchester, Liffey 5 Alpha, runway 28 squawk 661, departure frequency 121.150, Ryanair 554.
Ryanair 554, that's 131.150, and the rest of the readback was correct, so you can report ready for departure.
So we know it's 28, so we can execute that.
Roger, I think we'll report it to push and start.
Dixon 1 Alpha we can leave in.
554.
Dublin Tower, 5 evening, Ryanair 1 Kilo, established on island on
hectopascals.
Block.
We'll put in the Bristol 1 Alpha arrival, and that was 1.
Ryanair 554,
I changed that.
push and start is approved at your discretion. QNH 998 hectopascals.
Push are approved at our discretion and QNH Ryanair 1554.
So let's have a look at the charts. I won't bother with the taxi charts and
Dublin Tower,
everything.
good evening, Ryanair 1 Romeo Kilo, established on island runway 28.
Ryanair 1 Romeo Kilo, good evening Dublin Tower, surface wind is 240 degrees, 13 knots, runway 28, you're cleared to land.
Runway 28, speed blunt, Ryanair 1 Romeo Kilo.
So we need the Dublin VOR tuned 114.9. Because it gives us our MSAs. 1, 2. Tuned for the Collinstown VOR. So it's going to be 279. Runway is 278. left 9,100. The initial climb is flight level 90, but till we're cleared, we're not going to set that. It's just a reminder. And 4333, we don't Dublin just yet. Go. So I'm going to call up for departure clearance, and I've got a pen and I've got the OFP to write it down. Stand 124. Dublin Tower, Ryanair 575 Golf. So just in case he was going to clear someone to land.
Ryanair 575 Golf, on our passenger message.
Ryanair 575 Golf 738, stand 124, information Juliet QNH 9 at 8 hectopascals. Request departure clearance to Bristol.
Ryanair 575 Golf, your departure to Bristol is approved with Dexon 1 Alpha, departure off runway 28 Squawk 6666, and your airborne frequency 131.150.
It's Bristol, runway 28, Dexon 1 Alpha, Squawk 6666, departure frequency 131.15, Ryanair 575 Golf.
Ryanair 575 Golf, feedback correct, we're ready.
Wilco, Ryanair 575 Golf. Excellent, so that's our departure cleared. Let's get the APU on. It's me just using the hardware to do it. Let's start securing the aeroplane.
Ryanair 1 Romeo Kilo, welcome to Dublin, vacate runway when you will.
Get rid of ground handling junk at the same time. Check was our fuel 3550 is complete. Packs sat down.
Ryanair 1 Romeo Kilo, continue taxi on Sierra 5, right Sierra, left Whiskey 2, hold short runway 1634.
Continue via Sierra 5, Sierra Whiskey 2, hold short runway 1634, Ryanair 1 Romeo.
So because we are online, we are going to call for push. So the electric hydraulic pumps go off. That's a virtual Ryanair thing. It's probably an actual Ryanair thing. I'm going to assume that we're going to get given that sort of push. Even if we do get given a straightaway left, we can make it from there.
Ground to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
So, APU's on. Let's get the stairs up, doors shut. And I hope, guys, that sort of helped. Like I say, it's not a tutorial, but it's what I go through to get everything done. Because certainly, just on the checklist, it just says set up FMC, which, like I say, doesn't really help you. But what you do need is more information than you end up starting it. So once you know about all these free tools and things, it'll help you out. So minimum flap, if there's nothing on the onboard performance tools that the airlines provide, and it will tell you what the minimum flap retraction is. We're just going to set it to 1,000 above. So 242, 1,242.
Ryanair 5 1 Victor Kilo, KD from Dublin Tower, surface wind 240 degrees, 13 knots, runway 2, you're clear to land.
So one thing you should also do is check all of those legs, but I'm happy that they're correct.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed.
It's only the civil.
Ready to connect.
The thing we do need to do is set the squawk. All the sixes. Not sure if that's a bad omen or not. And that is us ready to go. Even with a bit of chat at a relatively slow pace. Still ready with 20 minutes without rushing. So we're going to call up ready for push once we've been lifted up. You see us being lifted up now. It's quite subtle.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Right, 575 Golf stand 124, request push and start. Once passing company traffic has passed right to left, clear push and start. QNH 909 at 8 hectopascals, Ryanair 575 Golf.
Ryanair 1 Romeo Kilo, continue taxi cross runway 1634, Mike 1 left on Foxider, right link 6 Charlie, and stand of choice.
Okay, so we've got to wait for him to go.
Continue cross runway 16, next Mike 1, Foxtrot Outer and second piston.
So that's the trigger to shut the door and get the cabin secure. I'll answer your question in a moment, Rick.
Charlie, and then a stand of your choosing.
Roger, cross runway 16, link 4, Fox Outer and link 5, stand of choice, Ryanair 1 Romeo.
Okay, there's someone coming in actually.
Ryanair 1 Romeo Kilo, just for now cross runway 1634, Mike 1 hold short of link 4.
Cross 16, Mike 1, hold short link 4, Ryanair 1 Romeo.
So adds an extra dimension. So the only thing I can say, Rick, is if you select it from SIBRIEF, then it will...
Ryanair 554 is ready for taxi.
That's him. Is that if you select that from SIBRIEF, it's probably that the nav data between SIBRIEF and the sim don't match.
Ypres taxiway 3 link 4 hotel 1 hold short runway 1634.
So that's where having SIBRIEF or Navigraph comes in.
Repeat that.
Ryanair 554 taxi link 4 hotel 1 hold short runway 1634.
Quick.
Link 4 hotel.
So write it down.
After that, please.
Well, mate, write it down.
Hold short runway 16.
Link 4 hotel 1 and hold short runway 16. Ryanair 554. Apologies.
But it is in a second language, so...
Ryanair 1 Romeo Kilo, continue taxi now left onto Foxider.
Continue left, Fox
So
Outer,
that's
Ryanair
him.
1 Romeo Kilo.
This guy to get going. How you can reset your... so I don't know if you saw what I did. I had the arrays, I suppose. If you wanted to start again...
Confirm with taxi April 2.
if you wanted to start again...
It's Ypres taxiway 3, then link 4, then hotel 1.
I think you might be able to delete these out.
Roger, Ryanair 554.
If not, you'd have to execute and then delete all of these out, or possibly changing, I think, your destination in the route will then delete your route and you'll have to start again. So that's how you can get rid of those. But like I say...
Ryanair 5 1 Victor Kilo, continue taxi on Sierra left whiskey 2, hold short runway 1634.
Come on, buddy. So when you call up ready, you need to be ready, otherwise it just slows everyone else down. So 5707, half an hour, 7 will be 40 minutes, so we're still good. So yeah, the best thing I can say, Rick, is to just get hold of Navigraph. You can link it with SIBRIEF.
Ryanair 1 Romeo
Stick it in
Kilo,
here.
continue taxi right onto
And
link
everything
6
should
Charlie,
match up.
and you can pick any stand on the northern pier.
Continue via link 6 and Charlie, Ryanair 1 Romeo Kilo.
I think I've got to chastise this guy. I've forgotten his call sign, but I can look up on the radar. Hurry up. OIR 554. Sent him a private message saying, dude, hurry up. But literally just sat in the way. Oh, there we go. About time. And I think he's going the wrong. So we were cleared. We are pushing.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Back we go. So yeah, sorry if that's not the best answer, Rick. I
Runway 51 Victor Kilo, holding shot 16.
haven't had to do that, so I don't know. So we'll call it 1911. This one. We'll push it back with 3540, 3560. So 20 kilos of fuel wasted sat there waiting for that.
51 Victor Kilo, actually enter left runway 34, taxi using the runway
Right.
to Papa 1.
So we're going back happily.
16.
Backs off.
Papa 1, runway 51 Victor Kilo.
Start engine number 2.
Runner 1 Romeo Kilo, you have missed link 6, just hold position for now.
Hold position 9 Romeo Kilo.
This guy's going to be busy. But fair play to the guys for coming on a sim online.
Runner 554, take the next left.
So I just popped fuel on for engine number 2.
Next left on Foxtrot, Ryanair 554.
Sorry about that being a bit delayed and a bit boring, as is the wonders of VATSIM. Starter cut out. Start increasing just a little bit more. Better pushback is being a bit squiffy.
Runner 51 Victor Kilo, left. Then
Engine 2 is stable. 2, 4, 6.
And standard choice.
Left.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
So brakes on, parking brake on.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
So we'll start up engine number 1. Hopefully we'll get given an left. We can make that turn from here.
Runner 1 Romeo Kilo, taxi using taxiway Golf.
Watch for the oil pressure.
Runway 16.
There it is.
Left Papa 1.
Waiting for 25% N2.
Left to Golf.
Fuel on.
Runway 16. Hold short Papa 1. Ryanair 1 Romeo Kilo.
Runner 554, make a right link 4, Hotel 1.
Gonna have to talk them through everything.
Roger, we found it, Ryanair 554.
So that was the stop
Tow is
cutout.
disconnected and bypass bin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Taxi now, left enter runway 16. Hold
2
your
stable
runway
engines.
28.
2, 4, 6. So we'll complete the before taxi flow.
Runway 16 and we'll hold short runway, on runway 28 as
Be using my hardware to move those switches. So I'm going to leave the engine anti-ice off.
Runner 1 Romeo Kilo, you are heading the wrong direction. Hold position.
There's the pin, so can go on.
Hold position 9 Romeo Kilo.
Flap 5.
Runner 1 Romeo Kilo, can you do 180 where you are? Can you turn around?
So flap 5's set, trim set. Do a flight control check, which in reality you don't do. Displaying full forward, full aft, full left, full rudder, full right rudder.
Runner
It's checked.
554, are you ready for departure?
So generators on, APU is off, start switch is continuous. Repeats on, anti-ice off for the moment. We've planned performance with anti-ice engine anti-ice on if we need it. Air conditioning, cruise 230 is set. PAX auto, bleeds on, insulation valve auto. So flap 5 green light, trim 7 required, 7 units set. Flight controls checked, recalls checked, and at this point we're now ready to go. Ryanair 575 Golf, request taxi.
Ryanair 575 Golf, taxi link 4, Hotel 1, hold short, runway 16.
Link 4, Hotel 1, hold short 1634, run F575 Golf. So we are clear taxi, so clear left, clear right. I suppose we should get the lights on first so we can actually see that we are clear. Link 4 is going to be an immediate left, it's down this way, we can make that from here. So we're ready to go. Brakes off. Config check. No alarm. Let's get straight on tiller. It's probably a bit keen on the thrust.
Runner 554, contact Shannon approach, Shannon control 131.150. Have a good flight, goodbye.
131.150, Ryanair 554, thank you, good night.
So we are taxiing. So link 4, Hotel 1 is the one to the left, Mike 1 is the one to the right over here. So it's a gentle left. Look around, make sure nobody's in the way. Haven't been cleared to enter the runway yet. I'm sure we will be. And then it's a short taxi all the way down to 28. So the first stop bar is Hotel 1, and then Hotel 1 is this one. It's the runway point. You can see the dash lines coming up on the centre taxi line.
575 Golf, continue taxi now, left into runway 16, hold short 28.
Left 16, hold short runway 28, right F575 Golf. So we don't need to put any other lights on because it's not an active
approaching
runway.
3-4.
Scheduled takeoff time is 19:20, which we probably just about make. 3 tons, 3 something.
On runway 16,
looks really good. I do use Auto XP.
200 feet remaining.
XP, and that was me just screwing up the taxi there whilst chatting. At night I turn it off just because I think I get slightly better performance with it off. So this is just the default scenery. It's not in 4K either. My monitor is wide, but it's not 4K. I forget what the resolution is, but you know, it's basically 1080 but stretched, which I like because I know it's probably not as great for you guys to see the detail, but it gives me this wider field of view. Works out quite well. More immersive. So let's get the cabin secure.
The cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
We're effectively ready to go. So sorry for the delays. How long are we in? Like 40 minutes or something. Thanks for your patience. Don't think anybody approach. So we should get given a pretty rapid rolling takeoff. We might be able to get bang on time. So we get a slightly rolling clearance because there anyone inbound.
Ryanair 575 Golf, line up and wait, runway 2.
Line up and wait, runway 28, Ryanair 575 Golf. So hardware switch for that. Strange that we haven't got any rain yet. Though we have been cleared. But no need to line up and wait, so turn the taxi light off.
Approaching 28.
So I'm not sure why the weather isn't quite matching. I'll tell you what.
On runway 28.
One thing you might think why the textures and everything are better is because I've got
Runner 575 Golf, surface winds 150 degrees, 9 knots, runway 2 cleared for takeoff.
okay, take off runway 28, Ryanair 575 Golf, thanks. I've got HD textures which are free and they're available online, so have a look for those, stick them in, and your markings in them look this good as well, makes a real difference. So we have been cleared takeoff, 40% N1, let the engine stabilise. Yep, brakes off, power, toga, time. So keeping the rudder, using the rudder to keep the aeroplane on the centre line. Quite a lot of rudder to start with. Some forward pressure on the control column just to keep the nose wheel down until 80 knots. And control
80 knots.
there. Rudder gets more effective as you speed up, so you need less and less input. Smaller and smaller inputs to keep us centre.
V1.
Go.
Rotate.
Rotate for a wet runway. 3 seconds up to 10 degrees.
Positive rate.
Then band, gear up. Onto the flight directives.
400.
100 feet out now. A bit keen.
1000.
Runner 575 Golf, contact Shannon Control 131.150, have a good flight, goodbye.
Shannon 131.150, thanks for the service, have a great night, Ryanair 575 Golf.
You too.
So it's just maybe a bit sketchy with the flying, hand flying it. Where we go in aeroplane. And a bit of a gust. Shannon, good evening. Ryanair 575 Golf, Dexon at 1 Alpha, passing altitude 2,800 feet, climbing flight level 90.
Radar 575 Golf, Shannon Control, good evening, radar contact, flight level 230.
Flight level 230, Ryanair 575 Golf. Right, this is going all over the place now. The wind is gusting, you see it changing around there. So I'm going to go command A. We have been cleared 230, which is our final cruise. So let's bug the aeroplane up manually. Good. Climb. Should have gone through some cloud, so I think we want some cloud and get the engine anti-ice on. There we go, that looks like cloud. So the aeroplane's accelerating, albeit briefly.
Radar 554, no worries, contact London Control now,
Flap 1.
133.7, goodbye. 133 defense, I want correction, now.
Passing flap 1, flap up. Cloud effects in. So, bugged up and we're turning. Get to 20. So as we pass the flap up speed, the brake goes to off, flaps up, no lights, gear up and off. Start switches can actually go off now along with the anti-ice we clear of cloud. Crew can be released in turn. Airplane is not pressurising just yet, but the pressure is increasing. Pumps check. Recall, fine, so I don't really want to accelerate too much, I'm a bit uncomfortable in this turn. Just because it's skirting around and shearing a bit. It's probably pretty accurate, to be fair. There's our departure, so 102 is going to be heading. I haven't even had a look to see if Bristol are online. If they're not, it could be quite good fun. You can see pretty sketchy. So let's go vertical speed 250. Stabilise the aeroplane a little bit. Still in LNAV. Don't use the MCP to tell what's going on. Seems to walk to that pretty spectacularly. Perhaps due to the wind. so you've got about 5 degrees drift. So at this point, let's go VNav. Nav. Set once, set twice. Should be on climb. Times. And off we go. Dexon, the restriction is at or above flight level 120, which we're going to make. Don't need to worry about that. Passing flight level 100. Go, all the lights can go off. 4 pumps are on. The airplane is now pressurising. Punters out. Quickly cool. Checked. Happy days. On our way. So, let's have a look at the ATC coverage. Is Bristol. Is London online. London Z Centre. I don't know what London Z Centre is. XC. Looking busy. London West is online. So we're probably going to get them. Bristol. I'm lying, I think we'll talk to North first. 337, so let's just get that queued up and ready to go. The airplane's bugged itself up to a nice efficient climb speed. Start thinking about getting the charts ready on the iPad. So, Bristol 1 out for arrival, I think it was, from Red Sea. That still takes us bang overhead the B. Don't know what runway we're going to get given yet. But what we can do is have a look at the weather. And it's 2 pages of weather, so it's looking a bit interesting. Lots of sigmets for turbulence, severe turbulence, mountain waves, severe icing, severe turbulence. An interesting day, and you can see, look at Bristol, overcast at 300 feet. That's what it was looking like. So this is a proper IFR arrival with 190 at 16. The runway at Bristol is 2709. So 190 is pretty much almost all across. So 180, 0 swings it round to runway 27 only just though, so there's not going to be a huge headwind component there, and these prop 30 tempos, so 30%, and tempo means in a 2-hour period it will happen for a period not exceeding an hour and only once, I think that's tempo. I do need to brush up. But that's even more sketchy. Might actually have limits for the aeroplane. One thing I don't think in explain models is stars do, which I think FSX used to, which is a shame. By the way, I hope you guys can actually see the cockpit. I've got the light on just because it doesn't come out very well otherwise. But you can see, let's have a look at our route. It takes us out, along, and down. And anyway, we don't really need to pick the runway just yet because it doesn't actually matter. We're going to get taken into the overhead. We'll probably, in fairness, get vectored because this will keep us quite high. It takes us to the hold at Bristol and the Bristol NDB. So I'm going to pop 414, which is the Bristol NDB. Both. In case we need to use it. Record VOR gives us our waypoints, but it doesn't give us anything to go from. So I think we're going to get ILS 427. There is an RNAV. However, the RNAV. Okay, in fairness, RNAV's got localizer performance, which is down to 250, but LNAV VNAV is 349, which would be no good for us. So I'm not sure if the airplane can do LPV. I think it probably can, but I'm going to say that I'm not cleared to passing 200, another 10 check. Diff pressure of 6.8 in the airplane. Altitude is still climbing, although very slowly.
Contact London 133.7.
Over to London 133.7. Thanks for the service. Have a great night. Ryanair 575 Golf. if it is a high-pitched rapid beep, it's probably going to be because the battery is discharging, you don't have AC power. So, not going to do it because it will make things go haywire, but if you turn the AC off and everything runs on battery, that's the norm you get. Unless you're near a marker and you've got the marker on, in which case you'll get the marker noise. London, good evening, Ryanair 575 Golf, passing flight level 220, climbing flight level 230, Love Mo.
Ryanair 554, you're starting at 575 Golf Staff. Bye. Shanix 36 Lima Fox. I've got no flight plan for you in the system. Can you refile, please? Cool. Ryanair 554, pass message. What's that probe start? Do we expect him to get Manchester, please?
A bit late to be thinking about that. Good, so Bristol latest 126025.
Ryanair 554, expect vectors from Daily. Roger, we'll expect vectors from Daily. Ryanair 554, thank you. Yes, 643 hit. Deployable 370.
26025, good.
Sky is 1428, hello, Aiden.
So 11015 is Bristol.
Shanix 36 Lima Foxtrot Squawk 0513. 0513, Shanix Lima Foxtrot.
015. Can do is now we are at top of climb. We pop out the central
UPS
closing.
643 heavy with you foil 370. UPS 643, very good evening. Continue. 643, thank you.
London Shore, good evening, EC789, 405, ring out of Manchester, 5,000 feet.
EC789, hello, squawk at end, climb flight level 180.
So we've got 1007 at Bristol. 1007 and a transition altitude of 6,000 feet. 007 transition level 75. Got a table to look that up rather than getting it from the ATIS. Popping the descent. 3, 1, 7-0. I will call 2, 6, 3. The FO could be doing this. 2, 5, 7. It's in the forecast plan. Arrival into Bristol, I don't think we're going to get over the top. And the difference between 1 and 2 is going to be the outbound course, so we need 103, so that's us. I don't think we're going to get them, I think we're going to get vectors, but we'll plumb that in anyway. It's going to be an IMC arrival. 10-mile ring, 5-mile ring.
Zulu Alpha is cleared through Manchester controls on by the Landford Reservoir. Level of altitude 1,500 feet, VFR. Here. Stand by. Apologies, continue towards Dane and I'll transfer you shortly. Golf Zulu Alpha. Request to climb into control essay.
It's giving us 10k visibility and light rain.
Controlled airspace. Golf Zulu Alpha, Roger, coming from.
Overcast at 300.
Altitude 6,000 feet.
With a dew point of 7.
Golf Zulu Alpha, Roger, climb altitude 6.
QNH 1007 and recent rain.
For requesting further descent, please.
Ryanair 554 descent flight level 140.
Descending level 140, Ryanair 554.
Good evening, London Control, or Shuttle 180 with you, flight level 310 past.
Good, hope that helped, Rick. Yeah, you always need AC power, otherwise you'll get the battery discharge warning.
No Shuttle 180 Zulu, sorry, sec.
So let's have a look at the performance.
Flight level 310 with you, sir, no Shuttle 180 Zulu.
So 5.8 down to 5. It's going to give us a burn of 7, so 60 6.3, which is pretty close. Max landing. Hello, good evening, Ryanair 575 Golf, flight level 230, Baggett.
Ryanair 575 Golf, very good evening, sir. Is requiring to Risla.
Road navigation direct Risla, Ryanair 575 Golf. Not sure we want that shortcut. Shortcut.
Sir, are you direct to Davy? Ryanair 554, disregard my message. Flight heading 140 degrees.
Flying heading 140 degrees, Ryanair 554.
Anyway, I'm just going to have a performance to steer wheel. Yes, so in reality there is a tiller.
London Control, Skyways 132.
I have it mapped.
With you turning at Dean's Cross.
Skyway. Hello, continue.
So in reality you have a tiller, and I have a slider that I use which allows the nose wheel to do like 38 degrees or whatever rotation it does. If you don't, and you have rudder pedals in the settings,
Ryanair 1554, maintaining flight level 140.
here,
Ryanair 554.
nose wheel axis
118.157.
gives you on, which is what I've got.
Ryanair 554,
You
thank
can
you.
link it to your, if you've got rudder, or twist on the joystick, or if you've got rudder pedals, you can link it to roll or VR, which I use obviously in VR. I'm not sure about. That's how you get.
Ryanair 170, contact Scott.
That's how you're enabled.
Control 13.
That enables to taxi better on the ground. So have a look at that setting and play with what you've got. And EFB guide that's on forums or on Facebook, I think will give you probably better detail about that than I can. That helps. Otherwise you're limited to about 6 degrees just using the rudder, which is obviously very difficult for taxi.
Golf Survival for entry, contact Manchester Arena 118.5. 118.57. Golf Zero Alpha, bye-bye.
So just having a look. So it's giving us a flat 40 landing because auto brake 3 is the only thing that's going to stop us. So landing distance is 2011. Auto brake 3 flat 40 is what we're going to need. 66.3. That's going to be interesting with a crosswind. 142, 147, because it's all across. So 2, 7. Make sure we get the airplane now because auto brake 3 is giving us 1897 with 114 remaining. So actually, we'll go auto brake max just to make sure. I'd rather be pushing than I'd rather disconnect it. It's going to take the same amount of heat into the brakes. 6.5, so a lot more powerful. Means we haven't got a turner to worry about otherwise.
Golf Alpha Tango. My service terminated.
Bit of a
Further
sticky
service,
situation.
Contact London Control 127. 137.10, thank you very much. Bye. Golf Charlie Info.
So 268 is 27 at Bristol, which is we're going to be using anything else. The hold is 271, so we can set up if we need to. Us set up for the approach. So let's have a look. Bristol. arrival is Bristol 1 Alpha. Our approach is going to be the islands 427. The airport charts, airport and airport parking stands. Our minimum for tonight, LS 01, which is 200 feet. Clouds are at 300, and that's above ground level, above the aerodrome. So that's what we're going to use. See how we get on. We've got sufficient fuel should we need it to have a couple of goes before we have to divert. We've got more than enough to get to Edinburgh. There's some very unhappy punters. So you can see there's nothing to follow here apart from how these waypoints are defined. So we could define those waypoints using the FMC if we wanted to. But I'm not planning on doing so. So this is ambient noise from a cabin. So briefing strip, which is useful. The localizer is 110.15, which I've got set. Course 268. 4 DME check. 1920. ILS decision height. Decision altitude 801. Airport's at 622. Runway's at 601. That's us set. So our arrival takes us here and should take us into the hold, depending on how busy it is. Once cleared, so we'd come in to join that hold. I think we could just about manage that. Might be a little bit tight. Direct entry. Takes us around that hold, and then we're a category C aeroplane, so 103 outbound to 8 DME before turning. It'll be fun to do the procedural, but I think we'll get back to it depending on how busy it is.
254, good evening, continue.
So there are no other brakes other than the parking brake rig, but there are chocks that you might have attached. Or if you're using the latest version in 4K, you may have a message here saying missing files. If you do, then that can cause your issues. Don't know if the installation guide explains it particularly well, but it's usually got good bits to help you out. Direct 2 is not working particularly well. I thought it might be a bit better in this version. Airplane's going to go right past that. So yeah, there's quite a few troubleshooting tips. If you've got things like fly with lure, turn those off because they can cause conflicts. Use the installation guide, start again, delete everything, reinstall Zibo. You never have to reinstall X-Plane, just update it if you need to. Lunar eclipse, that's weird. You never have to uninstall and reinstall X-Plane. So just delete Zibo, put the full version on, disable all your plugins and start from there. It works. Happy days.
Contact Scottish 135. Over to Scottish 135, decimal 52, Scandinavian 190.
So Cardiff's on up Bristol.
Ryanair 575 Golf contact. London 126.07, bye bye.
West 126.075. Thanks very much for the service. Have a great night. Ryanair 575 Golf. 267. So this aeroplane is playing ball. Let it keep doing its turns. And a good evening, Ryanair 575 Golf. Flight level 230, Robva.
Ryanair 575 Golf, London Control, hello, Bristol 1 Alpha arrival.
Bristol 1 Alpha arrival, Ryanair 575 Golf. Good, we've got that plugged in. descent.
Coming 930, descend the flight level 50, clear to leave control airspace by descent. Descent flight level 50, clear to leave control airspace in the descent, coming 930. Coming 930, traffic is a 787-900, range of 8 miles, and 11 o'clock, altitude 4 miles of feet. Good following approach to Brighton. Roger, looking, coming 930.
So there is the aeroplane starting to decelerate.
Gamma 930, route direct Reclo. Route direct Reclo, Gamma 930.
Been given a descent to do it, if not, call him.
Seaman 641, route, Seaman navigation direct Dorley.
Right navigation, Dorley, Speedbird 641.
Ryanair 3, November Lima, report your indicated airspeed.
Ryanair 3, November Lima, indicated 325 knots or decimal 79.
Seaman 641, report your indicated airspeed.
Okay, Rick, so if you disconnect the GPU, then you've got no AC power, so what you need to do is pop the APU on here, leave it for a minute or two until it starts up. The APU bus lights up blue, click on both of those, and then you'll get APU powering the aeroplane, as we did on the startup. Ryanair 575, Golf request descent. So that message there is reset.
575 Golf, descent flight level 160 level AMRAL.
Descent flight level 160 level AMRAL, Ryanair 575 Golf, which is
Gamma 930, descent altitude 2,500 feet.
plumbed in. So the aeroplane should spec that and start descending in a moment.
Decompletion service, Gamma 930. Gamma 930, thanks, contact Gloucester approach 128.550, goodbye. Gloucester approach 128.550, Gamma 930, thanks, goodbye.
So you probably haven't noticed, but when I start the APU, it might be a little bit difficult for you to see, but because I do it using keys on my keyboard here, you see it moving now. That's why you might not have noticed it, but it's always started before. Anyway, auto brake set, check and recall. Airplane set and descending. So we're going to stay with this guy inbound to Bristol because Edinburgh approach is online. We should have gone there. I was hoping to get Bristol. Bristol Tower 185. Just going to run now.
Right, left flight and Golf 1 ready to stand flight level 240 level Batsy.
21925.
Descent flight level 240 level by Batsy, Ryanair 5 Tango Golf. American 142, hello, level 3.
See, we're getting a little bit slow. But as long as we don't get below 240, the aeroplane is in VNAV path and will just maintain the path. So in the last stream I let it get a little bit slow and then the auto throttle banks it up, which is not really good for energy management, so I've just added some manual throttle there.
Roger, speed 310 knots or greater, Ryanair 3 November Lima.
641, maintain speed 300 knots or less.
300 or less, Speedbird 641.
So if you're doing this, you can use the checks down here.
4 Lima Victor,
After takeoff, descent, approach, landing. I mean, you can write those down if you want, if you can't get one there.
142, flight heading 0, correction 100 degrees, for spacing, descent on level 310.
100310, American 142.
Ryanair 575 Golf, contact Cardiff 125.850, goodbye.
Cardiff 125.850, thanks very much for the service. See you again later, Ryanair 575 Golf.
Goodbye. Zulu 25 kilo, when ready, descend to
2585.
level ultimate.
285. Shoot. So maybe that explains why Bristol was lit up, because they share it with Cardiff. Cardiff approach, good evening, Ryanair 575 Golf, passing flight level 195, descending flight level 160, level by Amral, Bristol 1 Alpha.
Ryanair 575 Golf, Cardiff radar. Runway 27 at Bristol, leave Dublin, heading 150 degrees.
Transmission was broken, understand runway 27 at Bristol, leave Dublin, heading 150 degrees, Ryanair 575 Golf.
Ryanair 575 Golf, just confirm that's leave Dublin, heading 150 degrees.
Leave Dover, heading 150 degrees, Ryanair 575 Golf.
Correct.
So we're not going to get given full arrival, so let's go this one after Dover. We'll go 25 above. Although that's not quite accurate, we are getting vectors. That's at least going to get us going right direction. So the airplane wants us to level off at 60. I think we'll get cleared below that. We'll just see how we get on. So let's get the legs over here. We're going to have to watch this. So we are at landing weight now, which is more luck than judgment. So that's where we were going. Amral at 160, we're going to get that now. I've just taken out all of this arrival because that, the hold, and out here going to be wrong. We're going to get vectored around, do something like that. So Dover 150. In. So no VORs. The missed approach is straight ahead and then back into. No, it's as directed. Although the comm fail is back into the hold, so straight ahead, turn right and back. So we don't need anything
1,000 to go.
other than the ADF. Bring us back to idle. So yeah, I hope you caught that, Rick. Just make sure you've got AC power. You can start the APU in flight as well. But if you're on ground power, it's blue illuminated, you click it. Do something on the bus, like the APU, to then take over to be able to push, or to be able to start up. So I think that's our 30-mile ring open. So we're going to be a bit high if we're not at flight level 100 by then. We should have ducked out for a little bit, gone to the toilet, because never mind. Distracting. This is the joys of flying. So I appreciate I didn't really explain that particularly well, but I hope you've got an idea of what we're going to be doing. Obviously it's easier if you're not online. Do these things yourself. So cross the speed limit point, or 3 minutes before the hold, at 250. The speed limit point is in Gur, but that's disappeared, so I'm not quite sure where that decel point came from. But I do. Yeah, okay. No, that's not the end of the world. Pretty much out. programming and understanding what's going on. And the panel above, practice your landings. Okay, good, better. Good, so fly the aeroplane. I'm going to assume that you're talking about the overhead panel here. There's not really a lot you need to worry about. Make sure the yaw damper's on. Don't touch the IRSs once they've started aligning. Just leave them on. Crossfeed you only need if there's a massive imbalance. Fuel pumps you only need the centre on if there's anything in there. All the lights and the start switches are pretty self-explanatory. Wipers obviously. Power distribution, you just need to keep your eye on that. But make sure we don't miss this point. So once we start turning, we'll go with it. Seatbelts, don't need to do much. Battery, the emergency exits, just leave them on. This is maintenance panel. Cabin util IFE, just leave on. That's your lights. Those stay on. Probes stay on throughout the flight. Anti-ice you need in icing conditions. Hydraulic pumps you just need on. And then the air panel and the pressurization there is also not, I would say, particularly difficult. So once you've set your cruise and you make sure the bleeds are on, the packs are in auto, the ISO's in auto, the airplane will pressurize. You need to turn the packs off to start the engines. You can leave the bleeds on. You've got the APU bleed on, yeah, the engine will start. Set that, otherwise you get hypoxic unless you've turned it off sim. And that's it really. There's not a huge amount, I don't know if you noticed, but there's not a huge amount I'm checking. Checking in the flight.
Descend flight level 9 0.
Descend flight level 9 Ryanair 575 Golf. Get the airplane down, we are descending at 240. Go level change.
with you, flight level 80.
Definitely Welsh name.
Hello, vectors on approach runway 30 at Cardiff, maintain flight level 80.
Vectors IRS runway 30 Cardiff, maintaining 80.
So I've been checking the pressurization throughout the flight because that keeps you alive. But once the pumps and everything, it's only the engine anti-ice that I'll play with and the start switches in flight, along with the lights. And you need to turn those off.
Turn right heading 170 degrees.
Right heading 170 degrees, Ryanair 575 Golf. It's going to be interesting. I'd like to know where he's taking us. Anyway, let's get our pretend packs sat down. Let's get some speed brake out, because I think we're going to be pretty high, so it's over the top. We are going to need quite a few more track miles. Ryanair 575 Golf, if you were looking to take us in and vector us from here, I think we're going to need some additional track miles at this point.
Ryanair 575 Golf, Roger, you can tell that they will be transiting north to south across the airfield and establishing from the southwest.
Roger, thanks very much, Ryanair 575 Golf. So, let's... Now we could plumb that back in. So let's get that arrival back in. Okay, that's well taken. Right. It just would have given us a bit of a better idea. So I reckon if we do, let's do that waypoint, 5 miles. Yeah, that'll do. And actually, let's go. If we go, still keeping an eye out on the airplane. If we go BRI.
Scully 3670, turn point heading 250 degrees.
Right, 250, Skyway 3670.
A bit better. It's not really any good, is it? But it gives us a bit of a better idea. Alright, that's not too bad. So that's giving us a little bit of a better profile. That's just a little guide to help with energy management.
Cardiff approaching, Speedbird 2005, request NAVAL clearance to Edinburgh. Station calling Cardiff radar, equals on early. Speedbird 2005. Speedbird 2005, Cardiff Radar, hello. Just confirm where you are, sorry.
Doesn't he know?
We are at Cardiff, sorry. Speedbird 2005. Speedbird 2005 is connected, it is as EV25 Victor.
1,000 to go.
Which one would you like to be? Well, I'll go and change that right now for Speedbird 2005. Thank you.
Should get a further descent. Just a moment.
Ryanair 575 Golf, descent altitude
1,000 to go.
Cardiff QNH1, approaching Bristol QNH 1007.
He said altitude of 4,000 feet, QNH 1007, Ryanair 575 Golf. So we've been cleared. Set that, make sure we don't bust it.
Cardiff approach, Speedbird 2005, we'll change our call sign. We'll be requesting our clearance to Edinburgh. Speedbird 2005, you've deleted your flight plan as well, so if you refile that, I'll give you the clearance very shortly. No worries.
It's the right one on, and we're going to check with the chart. OBTS, BTS. Bristol NDB is alive, pointing. Actually, I think we're doing alright. It says we're going to be a little bit low. I'm happy with that because we're going to be a little bit fast as well. It's quite difficult to go down and slow down, so we've got speed brake all the way. Just surprised that we didn't go a little bit further over this way, so that we could go outbound. So that level intercept I think is at 8 miles, because that's our 5 mile ring, that's our 10 mile ring, so that's 8 DME on the chart, which is that platform altitude. It's actually there, but transpose it into the intercept point before that. Let's get the anti-ice on. Do the start switches first, but a bit of a rush. Ring rate's still good. Speed brake's still out, coming down quite nicely. So MSA 3000 south, 2200 to the northeast. So descend. We'll still be above MSA. If you remember, it's going to be overcast all the way down, so it's going to be a proper ILS approach. Disconnect and try and hand fly it, which could be sketchy.
Contact Bristol radar 125.650, goodbye. Skyways 3670, contact Cardiff.
1,000 to go.
Bristol radar 125.65, goodbye.
Contact Bristol radar decimal 126.65.
So 10 degrees, it is going to get colder though. So
Ryanair 575 Golf, turn left heading 080 degrees.
left heading 080 degrees, Ryanair 575 Golf.
Ryanair 575 Golf, report that heading to Bristol radar 125.650, goodbye.
Heading to Bristol radar 125.65. Thanks for the service. Have a great night, Ryanair 575 Golf.
Bye.
So we'll bring the speed back to the flap up. And was it 080 or 085? Bristol radar, good evening, Ryanair 575 Golf, radar heading 080 degrees.
Ryanair 575 Golf, Bristol radar, hello, descent, correction, turn. Left heading 360 degrees, descent to altitude 3000 feet.
Left heading 360 degrees, descent altitude 3000 feet, Ryanair 575 Golf.
Bristol radar, good evening, Skyways 3670 with you at 8,000 feet, heading 250.
Skyways 3670, Bristol radar, hello, roger.
So I'm going to flap one at this point.
1,000 to go.
And the issue is in level change, that will scupper us a bit. So we do need to slow down, and we're on the glide, so we're
Altimeter setting.
Altimeter setting is fine. Don't want to be doing is going up, which is a little
Ryanair 575 Golf,
1,000 to go.
heading 300 degrees, descent to altitude 2500 feet, cleared ILS approach, runway 27.
Left heading 300 degrees, descent altitude 2,500 feet, cleared ILS approach, runway 27, Ryanair 575 Golf.
1,000 to go.
Accept. Correct VOR, correct localizer, all lock armed.
180 degrees, Skyway 3670 knots.
And we have got the speed brake all the way out. So that's now in and armed. Checked. So localizer should start to come alive, or a little bit low. Captured anyway, so thought that was going to be a bit of a high energy approach, but it's alright. There's the localizer. Out required, so a little bit of a mess. I think I could have managed the energy a little bit better there. And one thing we did miss at flight 100 was all of the lights. So, localizer capture, we can descend with the glide at this point. So, approach armed, glide slope armed. We are out to acquire and out to hold. We're going to go flap 5 at this point because we need to be configured at 5 miles. Because, see. Should be able to see Bristol. Sounding we can.
Golf, contact tower 133.850, bye-bye.
Tower 133.850, thanks for the service. Have a great night, Ryanair 575 Golf. Bristol Tower, good evening, Ryanair 575 Golf. Established, ILS 27, 5.5 miles.
Ryanair 5 Golf, Bristol Tower, good evening, runway 27, to land, service 30 degrees, 14 knots.
Midland runway 27, Ryanair 575 Golf. See, it is quite a crosswind. No speed brake armed, auto brake max. Gear down, 3 green, holding on the landing flap. We need to be stable by 1,000 feet. Captured, and the missed approach is straight into 3,000. Start switch is continuous. Cabin secure. I'm going to leave the MTIs off just in case some clouds come back. Don't know why the weather doesn't match forecast. So it's flap 40, 47. Let's not get a flap over speed. Should be flap load relief, so we're going to have to keep in mind that gusts. I was hoping that this would be fully IMC at this point. We'd pop out at 300, which is a shame. Anyway, there is 1,000 feet stable. So
1,000.
Auto throttle disconnect.
1,000 feet stabilized, Mr. Perch, altitude
Airplane
set.
should be trimmed. Set the flight directors.
Approaching 27.
241. It's not that much of a crosswind. A bit low, so just pitch up to counteract that. Watching that rate of descent. Still on instruments at this point.
300.
Because we popped out a cloud there, which would have been cool.
200. Approaching
A bit
minimum.
high. Let's not let the airplane sink too much. It should technically be a bit of go around.
Minimums. 50, 40, 30,
Idle.
20,
Hold.
10.
Go. This reverses out. The airplane is going to comfortably stop.
80 knots.
Missed that taxiway, so manual braking, we're all the way down to stow the thrust reversers. We're confident we can stop just on
2,000
brakes.
feet remaining.
This is the nice thing about X-Plane, this humped runway. It's nice and realistic. So 49 minutes after takeoff we have touched down. Gents, welcome to Bristol. So some manual braking to slow us down. So onto the tiller. See, even with idle, the aeroplane's starting to accelerate there. Ryanair 575 Golf vacated.
Ryanair 575 Golf, I think we're still complete ground on 121.92, thanks for the
Thanks very much. Ground 121.92, Ryanair 575 Golf. Good night.
One X-ray department, squawk 6025, KLM 446.
KLM 446, feedback correct.
Bristol, vRYR 102 ready for push and taxi on stand 1.
Area 102, roger, hold position, I'll call you back.
Bristol ground, good evening. Ryanair 575 Golf vacated, holding Golf X-ray.
Ryanair 575 Golf, Bristol ground, good evening, taxi stand at 6.
Taxi stand 6, Ryanair 575 Golf. I'll look that up on the chart in a minute. Let's just get the aeroplane tidied up. Get the aeroplane moving first. So the anti-ice can come off, probe heats go off. Back to the front. Anything else I need to do then? Go on. Get the aeroplane going. So we should see some quite high brake temps. Okay, not too bad, 220 degrees. Brakes up. Transponder goes down, off, not on, away. So what does Zibo say that landing was? A great landing. The smart car says 312 feet per minute. Firm. Realistic. So we're going to taxi all the way down.
Bristol, request push and start.
Going to go a long way.
KLM 446, hold position, I'll call you back.
Roger.
Looks busy. At this point, I'm going to start the APU. Actually, I tell you what, no, I'm not going to do single engine taxi because I just don't need to. Welcome to Bristol. So you can see here the textures are not very ortho, they're sort of generic. If you watch the last stream I did, it was a daylight flight, so I had the ortho on. It's quite good. Doesn't look as good on the ground, but what I might try rounding is maybe 1 kilometre around airports with ICAOs, zoom level 17 and zoom level maybe 18 or 19 around, see how that comes out. So I might try that on a single tile, see how I get on. But I use X Organizer to turn off the ortho at night. We're going to go all the way down, and it's going to be left. Give us stand 6. To down.
Area 102, after the passing Ryanair, Boeing 737 passes behind from left to right, stand 1, push to start approved, runway 27.
So I think that's this guy here.
102.
So 21 to 24 was left. Maybe he's down here on the left. I'm going to start the APU up. There we go, that's the one I'm talking to. Ground confirm it was stand 6 for Ryanair 575 Golf.
Ryanair 575 for Golf A firm, stand 6.
Stand 6 Ryanair. Have a good look round, there's no one there.
KLM 446, stand 25, push and start approved, runway 27.
Push and start approved, thank you, KLM 446.
And it should be second on the left. So first one. The markings aren't great. Should this one here, that'll do us. Not bad though. Even just having that little notch helps. So walking pace onto stand of about 5 knots, 4 or 5 knots. Hard left. Yeah, we can see without lights on. You see how much easier it is to taxi with a tiller, although it's not perfect. Not terrible either. And we are pretty much here. Let's try and get that.
Every 221, ready for push and start.
Make sure we don't hit
Every
that light.
221, stand 13, push and start approved.
I did want to go a bit further forward than that, but you know what, that'll do. Park the brake on. So, on stand. Engine instruments. And you see here, they go APU gen. Switch the bus over. The engine gens go off. We'll put this up to keep the packs warm for a minute. 2 blue lights, 1 red light. Engine's dead and we're on stand. Engine shut down. Now 7 minutes after we left Dublin at 20:18. We've let the crew go. Below 20% into beacon can come off. Let's get the stairs out. Here's the ground power. Let the pretend packs go and we can turn the APU off. And that is very much it. Get ground handling just so it looks a bit better from the outside. Look. Driving up. So we had a look at the landing rate. 49 minutes airtime. Extra points for that. 107 block. Landed with, arrived with 230, 2320, so we used 1.24 and 0.25, 2.5 tons of fuel, which is probably about 2.5 grand's worth of fuel in reality. And that is us at Bristol.
Every 102, contact Bristol Tower, 133.85, bye-bye.
3385 for Bristol Tower. Thank you for everything. AIRBORNE 102, so long.
Aft entry. There we are on stand. That guy pushing back. Thus, welcome to Bristol. So, as always, thanks very much for watching. I hope it was useful. Hope you've got something from it. And again, feel free to come back with some questions. I don't know where we'll go next. I'd like to have the ATC coverage. It's massively busy over the UK tonight, which is good to see. And I've missed the stand by miles, but it did look like we were getting quite close to that light. So, as I say, thanks very much for watching, guys, and do hope you can come and watch again soon. Yeah, Schiphol does often have quite good events, and it's a very busy airport, which is great fun. Controllers are also very good. Wednesday is Gatwick night, so we'll probably be doing a trip into Gatwick. There's not many Ryanair routes that go into Gatwick, so it'll probably be either Dublin again, or so Shannon, Dublin, I think be Cork. Anyway, Wednesday night will be a trip either in and out. I prefer to do in. ATC coverage is better on the approach. You don't really need it for departure, but it'll probably be a trip into Gatwick. I'm not sure I can get 2 sectors in. Depends. I can get away. So that'll be fun. But as you see here, Bristol is nice and busy. Good to have the traffic. Somebody there, 2 people there waiting to go. Sit. So, like I say, Rick, good to speak to you. And yeah, seeing as you're Dutch, Schiphol would be good. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks very much for watching, and good night.